welcome to another episode of ROC Movie Reviews. Today, Ryan and I will be reviewing Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, so Mad Max Fury Road. I saw this movie on DVD.
I saw it in theaters twice.
I am jealous. That must have been a really, really special experience for you.
It is, because especially with like the big screen and the loud sounds, it really immerses you.
Did you see it in RPX or 3D or?
No, just standard.
Standard.
Because I don't do 3D because it doesn't. It's kind of gross.
Yeah,
like,
it is kind of gross.
You'll have a movie that's just 3D, and it'll be like, it slightly comes out at you in one part of the whole movie. Like, I remember seeing Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince in IMAX, and only 20 minutes of it was in 3D, and then they're like, take off your glasses, the rest of it's just regular.
Yeah. Great movie, though.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That's actually J.K. Rowling's favorite movie out of all of them. Did you know that?
But back to Mad Max.
Right, sorry. Getting off on a tangent. Yes, so yeah, Mad Max, I saw it on DVD. When I saw it, I watched it on my flat screen TV in my room. It was awesome.
It was very good.
Oh, man. And I haven't seen the original Mad Max trilogy, so I didn't know what to expect from a film like this. I just know I like Tom Hardy, and I like Charlize Theron, and that's about it, you know? That's it. Just the two actors in it, and the fact that it looked like just this insane 2-hour ride of like craziness, explosions, cars crashing, just all that. What I wasn't expecting is that the movie actually has a pretty meaningful story behind it.
Yeah.
Too. It had more depth and emotion than I was expecting from an action movie.
Yeah.
So
like it has a lot of diversity because it is an action movie, but it is very meaningful too, if you will.
Yeah, and the production, you know, this movie had a lot of production problems too, and like how long it took them to film it, and how long this film had been in production, like for 10 years, I think.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so to finally see this on the big screen, to see this epicness unfold was really, really cool. The fact that they built all the cars and everything from the ground up, and they actually filmed in the desert, I mean, it felt genuinely natural. So that was cool. The story is pretty by the numbers, paint by the numbers, right?
I would say paint by the numbers. I would just say it's very straightforward.
Yeah,
like it's not too complex. It's basically. No. Oh jeez.
It's basically like it's kind of like one of those game those
it's
levels.
Very like dystopian.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like one of those levels in video games. It's a mission where you need to go to one point, and then you need to turn around and go back to the other point. That's basically what it is. It's a, that's kind of what the whole movie feels like, but it is thrilling nonetheless. And the fact that Tom Hardy took over for Mad Max as Mad Max, for Mel Gibson, that was cool. Yeah,
Mel Gibson is a trash monger.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I haven't seen many of his films. I haven't seen any of the Mad Max ones. I like his older films, but I haven't seen many of them. So, but yeah, Mel Gibson, take it or leave him. But Tom Hardy, good actor. Wow.
Very good.
He doesn't say that many lines in this movie.
What I especially like about this movie is that they're able to express so much emotion, but with more, like, visuals and expressions rather than, oh, I'm mad, I'm sad, sorry.
And the visuals of him seeing, like, he'd have flashbacks of, like, his children and all that. Like, he's haunted by his past mistakes and that kind of stuff. That was cool. You know, the opening of this movie is just, wow. You know, it sets the standard for what you're going to see for the next 2 hours. And similar to other movies, it just keeps impressing you. You think it's going to slow down, but that's one thing I noticed. This movie never slows down.
Yeah, it barely gives you time to breathe, which usually is, like, sometimes a bad thing.
Yeah,
but in this, it's like, it just fits in together well. Like, it comes naturally in a way.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's what I was so surprised by, because all the characters meshed well together, and the way they met each other was cool too. Like, there's a big fight, and then they finally kind of like accept that they all are after the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And everything that was practically done, like the special effects, everything, that's for a different category. But that was also very impressive too, you know? And I can't imagine being in the condition that they were when they filmed it. It couldn't have been fun.
No.
No. No, but for them to be that committed and for that big of a crew and production and director to be committed to making a movie like this, that's pretty gutsy.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, so praise to George Miller on making this movie, because wow, it really paid off in the end. I mean, I think this was it was definitely #1 at the box office this weekend, right?
It was for a very long time.
Yeah, for like a couple weekends at least. Yeah, I remember that. So the other thing I loved about this film was the color palette. It's so like,
especially for a desert, it's like
yeah,
so many yellows and reds and blues.
Yeah, it was like really vibrant. That was the word I was looking for. Vibrant, and it's not like a dull desert. It's like, this is cool, you know, and the visuals kind of bring you more into this world. And I was hooked from like the first car crash or whatever when he's driving away.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when he's standing there and there's like that monologue going on and he just squishes that lizard, gets in the car and starts driving away. That was cool. It was very cool. Everything about this film is just, I would say everything about this film is high octane.
Yeah. It
really doesn't pull any punches. And by the end of the film, you're like, I think I need to go lay down or something, because it's so intense and it's so fast paced and just boom, 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 boom to the next thing, to the next thing. So that was cool.
I'm just really glad that they did a reboot instead of a remake.
Yeah.
Because like the way they set it up is that the end of Beyond Thunderdome, I'm pretty sure, is he's out on his own in the desert, and they open that with him being out on his own in the desert, and he has his scraggly beard and all that, so you can tell he's been out there for a while.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not 20 years like between Thunderdome and that is, but it's been a while since he's been around people.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah. And moving on to the acting department, Tom Hardy as Max, wow, he was able to express so much emotion and depth into his character, and he didn't say very much in the movie. It was like he was almost silent throughout the movie, really. I mean, he had a couple lines here and there, and when he had them, he delivered them to perfection. It was like, whoa, you know, I'm hooked by this character, and I didn't think I was going to get that. But again, Tom Hardy has proven that he is a very good up-and-coming actor. Not up-and-coming, he's been around for a while, but he's getting better roles now.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I love him. I love him as an actor. How do you feel about Tom Hardy?
I think he's really good, especially after seeing him in The Revenant and Legend. He's very good.
I haven't seen either of them. I want to see both of them. And you're going to tell me that I need to see both of them, correct?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Revenant and Legend are on the list as well. That very, very long list of movies to see. Yeah, I've been meaning to see Legend and The Revenant. Would you say Revenant's better?
Revenant's way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's the movie that won Leo his Oscar. So. Yeah. And it's got to be good. That's what I was saying. Moving on, we've got Charlize Theron. Your thoughts?
Very good. Very expressive, like Tom Hardy is.
Mm-hmm. She talked more, though.
Slightly. There's still a lot of like, and
there was a lot of
a very vocal character.
Yeah.
Comes to screaming.
Yeah. And I was surprised. This movie almost felt more like a Furiosa movie than a Max movie, because the story was mostly centered around her. And there's a guy named Max who's here, but more of the story was focused on her. And Ike actually got behind what she was trying to do. You know, she's trying to rescue these young girls from this pretty much a dictator, right?
Dictator, warlord,
evil person.
Yeah.
Genuinely bad guy. So, yeah, but I was able to get behind her intentions and what she was trying to do. So, I was surprised by her character. Like, she blew me out of the water. That was
Well, one thing to say for sure is that people were complaining about, oh, Max doesn't have that much character, it's all Furiosa. But if you pay attention to the last movies, Max really just stands as an observer. Because he just moves from, like, situation to situation. He's like, oh, I'm here. Yes. Even Mel Gibson didn't have that much personality to the role. He's just the observer, really much.
I've seen a couple of clips from, like, Road Warrior, and he's kind of just there. And he does stuff, but he's not, like, the center of attention, usually. You know, he doesn't have that wide range of emotion, you know? Would you say Tom Hardy did a better job with portraying that character with more emotion than Mel Gibson?
Well, I think that role can't have that much emotion.
That's true.
Just because it has to be such a neutral character.
Yeah.
But I think he did. He was definitely a good replacement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Max was so menacing. When he wasn't talking, you were like, this guy could crush my skull with his hand. You believed it, because it was like, don't mess with this guy, you know? So, and Tom Hardy really brought that tough guy, as well as menacing lead protagonist, sort of an antagonist, actually, a little bit, right? He's not a cookie-cut good guy. Mm-hmm. He definitely has flaws. But, you know, like all the characters in this movie, they're all flawed, but they're all trying to do the best they can with what they've got. So that was cool to see that with everybody. I like Nicholas Hoult as Nux.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he actually surprised me too, because I didn't know where his character was going to go. I thought he was just going to remain a bad guy, and then we kind of started to make the crossover. It was like, oh, you know, he's got more. There's more character to explore with him, rather than just, oh, you know, cookie cut bad guy's servant. Mm-hmm. That's it. So, you know, and seeing that was cool, especially his that sacrifice at the end. That was epic, which I think leads us into action and effects.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because we covered story, and we covered a little bit of what the story was, and the acting, because there wasn't that many actors.
Well, there was a lot, but there was only a few that have that attention and the personality.
Yeah, exactly. Like special mentions. Yeah. So this movie is basically one long chase sequence, and I'd like to say the whole movie is action set pieces, because it kind of is.
Well, what I like about it is that a lot of it is practical effects. There's very few CGI portions to it, but when there are CGI portions, it kind of feels out of place in that context.
A little bit. Like, that storm with the tornado and everything, it may have fell out of place, but that was cool.
I wasn't talking about that, though. Oh, sorry. Because, like, there's one part at the end where he's on the guitar truck, and he takes it out of his hands and he starts beating people up with it. It just doesn't look like it's there. Like, it just looks out of place. But things like the storm and stuff like that, that's fine. It's just where, like, it's CGI where other people are supposed to be, you know?
That storm looked beautiful, though. Like, the whole way that George Miller approached creating that storm and everything, it didn't feel like it was, you know, it was there, but it wasn't dominating the actual scene. It was just there and as a kind of a background, and that was cool. Oh, that whole scene was awesome, because then we get into more of the slower character moments, as there's a little bit of a pacing issue in the middle. But for the most part, it's pretty well paced.
It's pretty consistent, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. There's one scene, like, in the night that felt a little, like...
Drawn out.
Drawn out, yeah, exactly. But that was still pretty cool, too, because they were still being chased, and it was still relevant to the story.
Because there was that one part which could have been better when he's like, I'm gonna go take out the governor of Bullet Town, and he just walks off into the fog. And then explosion comes back with loads of ammo. Yeah,
with blood all over him and everything, yeah.
It's like, it could have been more interesting if they focused on him doing that.
Yeah, even they could have totally showed that.
Throw in some more action, and then they're just like, oh, he's there.
Rather than Furiosa with her sniper rifle just waiting, and then seeing him, but not knowing if it's him yet, and then just walking back, you know, with a bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess he's fine.
Like, they could have had that scene, but in addition... Just throw in...
Before they could have shown what he was doing and taken them all out, because he takes them all out in a majority of the movie.
We don't even know if he takes them all out, too, because we don't see it. Could have been...
That's true.
Oh, I got one, and it spilled all over me.
Yeah.
I just stole this ammo. He's still out there.
He could have just escaped, and maybe he only took out a couple, and there's still some after him, because that was a big convoy of people after them, you know?
But it was that the governor of Bullet Town that had gone rogue, and he was like, "I'm going after him." Bye.
That's true. The blind guy. That whole scene was like I couldn't take it seriously because he was so overacting. I was like, trying not to smile.
That's what's so special about it is that
Yeah.
everyone's so outrageous because it's already such an outrageous movie. Anyways, you gotta like.
Yeah, the characters are equally as outrageous as
You gotta embrace the madness.
the madness around it. The whole movie is crazy and out of its mind, but it's all the better for it because it embraces its insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of the biggest strengths about the movie.
It's not afraid to be weird.
No, it's not. And oh my god, that finale too. Like the finale and every action sequence that's happening, it's essential to the overall story. And it's just every sequence is more thrilling than the last.
The only problem I had with the finale is that it felt like too fast in a way.
They did try to wrap it up a little bit too fast.
They rip off Immortan Joe's face, and then it's just, oh, he's dead. And then when that old lady, I don't remember her name, but she's the one that has the bag, she gets like, I don't even know what happens to her, because she gets like hit with that saw thing, and then
she
she's
gets
just...
chainsawed in the neck.
Yeah, but she's just like, because they don't show anything.
I
'Cause it's
kind of,
like,
I kind of was a little happy that they didn't because it probably would have been pretty gory if they had.
but at the same time, at least you know for certain what happened.
Yeah, that's true. It was more of an emotional ending to her character, though, rather than it could have been a little more of a gross out ending.
But you can have both at the same time.
Yeah,
because there's
that's
plenty
true.
of emotional scenes in other movies that certainly aren't clean or anything like that.
That's true. They did shorten that scene. They could have probably drawn it out a little longer, and maybe you sounds like you would have liked that.
And
I'm okay with the way they
if
did
she
it.
were to be chainsawed in the neck, she wouldn't be able to be alive for that much longer, let alone stab the guy that stabs Furiosa right in the eye with the bullet, you know?
It's not in the eye.
The guy, he's like, ugh.
Oh yeah, that was creative and surprising at the same time.
Yeah,
Just
but-
like
He gets chainsawed in the neck, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm fine.
well, no, she's not fine.
Well,
She's dying. But
She would already have been dead. She would have
That's
bled
true.
out.
yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have happened that slowly. She would have died in a matter of probably minutes.
Seconds.
No, I'm sorry, seconds. You're right. I meant to say seconds, but yeah. So those could have been handled better, but just the like saying embracing its own insanity as a movie. There's one of the guys that has a guitar and it spews fire out of the neck
That's like
of
the
it.
best part, probably. It's
If
so
you-
outrageous and just crazy.
You either embrace the craziness of it and keep watching, you're like, this is awesome, or you just loses all credibility in your opinion, and you just stop watching. Some people are going to be like, wow, they went that far, seriously, and then they may just turn off the movie. But some people like us, that's just cool. I mean, and it was handled really well, especially with his fight with the guy with the guitar. I mean, well, it maybe not has been as believable. It was pretty high octane. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So. I don't think he actually... Yeah, actually, that guy got squished.
Yeah.
With a big... Which leads me to Nux's sacrifice. I thought he was going to make it out, and I was hoping he would, because I actually cared about his character towards the end.
He still would have died, though. 'Cause
Yeah,
he
you're right.
He was at the end of his half-life, quote-unquote, so it would have been a matter of days or weeks, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. Now that you mention it,
Because I'm sure Max wouldn't be willing to still be his blood bank.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I forgot about that. It was like he hooked him up and everything, and that was an interesting, complex way to like.
It was a cool way to like incite their like not religious beliefs, but like
Their culture.
their culture, because they're like, it's the blood of a healthy person, so
Mm.
his blood will help me heal.
Yeah.
It's something that like in this day and age is like, no, that doesn't work that way, but it's another way of how it embraces the madness, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm drinking water. The whole thing about them needing like the water's running out and all that. That was cool too, especially when they're spewing like the gasoline into their own engine or whatever. They're drinking it and then spewing it. That's almost as crazy as the guy with a guitar that spews fire.
Yeah.
So again, embracing the absurdity and the non-believability of the movie, but also embracing it with open arms, if you will. So that was cool. And his sacrifice, you're right, he probably would have died, but his sacrifice was pretty epic. Yeah. So that was cool. I think that's about it. The movie ends. The movie ends not necessarily on a cliffhanger, but It kind of concludes, would you say?
Yeah, like, the way it ends is that Max eventually leaves after they return to the Citadel and claim it as their own, basically.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I feel like that ends the story of Furiosa and the Citadel.
Right.
And now in potential sequels, it should be something else. It shouldn't be a continuation of this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that should be too, because it doesn't. I like that it doesn't leave too many doors open, but it also, I think George Miller's talked about doing another one titled Mad Max: The Wasteland.
He said there's 2 more scheduled, I think.
2 more scheduled. I just know about the next one, what it's called. But yes, there are 2 more scheduled. So I guess I'll have to see the original trilogy as well, because I've seen some scenes from it and it looks pretty cool. It's also, those are very practically done as well, right?
For the most part, yeah.
There's not much CGI in the old ones.
Well, at that point in time, CGI wasn't really a thing either.
No,
so
right.
the very little there's like claymation eyes poking out of the head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that. But
Well, those
other
were,
than that,
I mean, they came out in the 80s, right? Yeah, so those
earlier. Some of them were
were
late 70s. I
Late
think.
70s, that's right, yeah. So, maybe the trilogy wasn't as believable as Fury Road, because Fury Road was actually able to capture this.
Well, it's not as believable now, but it's from a different time. You know?
That's right, exactly. So you shouldn't expect the same thing watching the trilogy as Fury Road, because they came out in different eras.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think Fury Road. I haven't seen the trilogy, but Fury Road has set a high standard. So once I see the trilogy, see how it stacks up to Fury Road. But I loved Fury Road. If they do another one, I will absolutely watch it. And now I'm a Mad Max fan after this one, and I've only seen 1 movie, so.
Well, what's good about this movie is that you don't have to see the other 3, because you can just see this one and enjoy it for what it is.
It's a standalone. So that was cool. And I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was the music in Mad Max by Junkie XL.
It's very good.
Oh my god. That captured so much of the high-octane craziness of all the scenes and everything. The music was almost as essential as everything else in the movie, I feel like if they had gotten some other kind of generic action music, it might not have been as memorable.
There was one piece of generic music that I did hear. It was when the governor of Bullet Town is like, he's been blindfolded and he's like, I'm gonna get you.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it's
right.
like the Quidditch match music from Harry Potter, where it's like,
Oh, I didn't know it was from that, but yeah, I heard that and I was like, yeah, that felt a little out of place. But again, that's like my least favorite scene in the movie. So I just kind of right past it, and I'm like, it's a quick scene too. It doesn't really matter that much. But other than that, the music, like, I love the soundtrack and the score for this movie. It's probably one of the most memorable. It's right up there with Harry Potter and maybe Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Like, I think it's on that level. I think it does a really good job, and Junkie XL did a good job of mixing. It's kind of like dubstep and very, very hard bass as well, and it really captures the boom, 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 the kind of feel that this movie should have. So, hats off to Junkie XL. He did a good job. He's been doing a lot of scores for movies lately. He did Batman v Superman too. Yeah. Although Hans Zimmer also did that too, and Hans Zimmer, he's one of my favorite composers. I mean, it's Hans Zimmer. How can he not be, right?
Yeah.
That's about all I wanted to say about Mad Max Fury Road. Talking about it right now makes me want to watch it again because it's been a while, so I might just watch it again sometime. I don't know. So is there anything else you want to say, or we want to wrap up?
Probably wrap up.
What would you rate this?
I would say probably an 8 out of 10, just because it's so innovative for what it is. It could have easily been a remake or just followed the same formula that the original ones did, but it was...
Decided to do something else.
Yeah.
Something more creative and original. Yeah. So 8 for you, 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to give Mad Max Fury Road 8 out of 10, actually. I think 8 out of 10 is a good grade for it. I think it deserves it. And I think you, who are watching it right now, watching this review, should stop watching this review and go watch it, because it is an awesome movie, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, I think that's how we're going to end it. Mad Max Fury Road, absolutely see it. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of ROC Movie Reviews. Peace out, guys.